of birds and rocks. Look at all of it. Connor, make sure you read the stuff so you learn. I'm going to quiz you about stuff, so you better look. Oh, you see more rocks? How cool is that? Look at these. I know, he gets excited. Look at excavations. This is where they're working right now on different things. You know what excavation means, Hannah? Can't even talk.
Black.
Yeah. And look over here. These are animals. You see the animals? We're going to keep walking. Oh, Felicity likes. This is what they used to make blankies out of. These are like blankies. You see the foot? That's a coyote.
I saw one in Arizona.
You did?
Yeah, I was close to our house one time.
There's an otter.
It's kind of creepy.
And a bear.
Playing outside, and then
A foot, yeah.
we were gonna go back to the house.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Oh, man.
yeah, let me stay back for a few minutes.
You like them.
These are the only 3 remaining mounds. We do believe that originally there would have been about 18 of them. Most of them a lot shorter than the mounds we have today. Probably only 3 or 4 feet high. But unfortunately, those are all lost. We do have one other thing left over that the Plum Bayou people built. Is turn around and face this direction. This is not a mound. This is part of what we call the embankment wall. It was a dirt wall about 8 or 10 feet high that ran around 3 sides of the site, leaving the back open to the lake. You'll see in a little bit. And originally, we weren't really sure what this wall was used for. We had a lot of guesses. Can anyone think of the reason they might have built this wall? To keep water out. That is something that we originally thought. Maybe it was some sort of what we call today a levee, which is the wall that we build around rivers to keep the water in. But if I was going to build a wall to keep the water out of this site, it would make a lot more sense to do that if I built the wall over near the lake. And there's no wall there. So if that lake overflows, what happens to that water? Does this wall keep it out? No. In fact, keeps it in. It's like a big bowl. That's why there's water standing all over the site today. So originally we thought it might have been used to keep the water out. Today we believe that that isn't what it was used for. Does anyone else have a guess of something else we might have used it for? What's something else we might have used it for? Maybe not. How about something that we know people a long time ago built walls for? Over that if we wanted. It's probably not going to be very good at keeping. So those were our 2 big theories that we had. It was used to keep the water out. It was used to keep people out. But today we're pretty sure that both of those are wrong. So we thought really long and hard about why would they have put all the work into building this. And today, what we believe the wall was used for, it wasn't meant to keep anything in or out, but instead it was used more like a boundary. This was a sacred site for the Plum Bayou people. Only about 50 people lived here year-round. The rest of the tribe would have lived in the surrounding area. And they would have gathered here at different times of the year for special days, much like our holidays today. We go over to our friends and family's house to celebrate. And we believe that for the Plum Bayou people, when they were coming here, gathering here, this wall would have marked that they stepped onto this sacred site, which is where we're standing. crazy. Okay. Today, my park, if you didn't know what it was, if I wasn't here telling you what it was, really just looked like a big open field with some really piles of dirt in it. About the site, that's what it would look like. That's not what it would have looked like 1,200 years ago in the Plum Bayou. Buried here. Is that as good as actually digging it up and looking at it?
No.
It's not. But it's the best we can do. It can give us a really good idea of what's buried here. But again, we can't be.
But then, how do we know there's a bunch of bodies in there?
Because
It stinks.
in the 1960s, before this was a state park, before there was any law that protected burial sites like Mound C, there were a group of people who came here and did an excavation on Mound C. They actually dug into the top of it. And that's where they found human remains. We do know for a fact so of our 18 mounds here, only one of them was used as a burial mound. Most of our mounds, and if we turn around and look into the sun for just a minute at Mound S, and then turn back around so we don't have to stare into the sun just a minute. Mound S is what most of our mounds here would have looked like. It's fairly short and it's flat on top. Everywhere you see one of these big red signs with a white letter on it, we believe there would have been a mound. Do we know for certain what these mounds were used for? No. There is no way to know for certain. But we can make some pretty good guesses. Mound S is not one of the original mounds. It was rebuilt by us. But before we rebuilt it, we dug there and we found something really interesting. We found a huge amount of deer and turkey bone. More than what would have been left over by the 50 or so people who lived here eating at any one time. So we're pretty sure that at some point, a long time ago, a whole bunch of people got together right over there on Mound S, and they did something that we do today when we celebrate holidays. They ate a lot of food. There are a lot of holidays that we celebrate today by getting together with friends and family
And eating.
Most of our holidays, in fact, we get together and we eat some food. And that's what these people were doing. Were they celebrating any of us?
Hey, it's nature still, so. Alright, go in front. Hold on, Gloria.
definitely does. I wouldn't want to ride in it unless I had to. But it doesn't work. It might. It might not float above the water. But even our modern, so have you ever been kayaking? You know what a kayak is? Okay. So kayaks today, they're built so that even if the entire kayak fills with water, you can actually sit in that kayak and it will float 4 or 5 inches underneath the water. You can still sit in it and paddle it back to shore, even when it's filled with water, because it's buoyant enough that it doesn't sink. I don't know if this would be that buoyant. I wouldn't want to try, because you would definitely get wet trying to use this kayak. All right. We're just going to be out here for a few minutes. We're going to enjoy this nice, at least nice to me, lake breeze we have going on. And we're going to talk about our lake here. You can go all over the world, and if you are trying to find ancient civilizations, people who lived here 1,000 years ago or thousands of years before that, the best place to look is near water, whether it is a lake like this one, the ocean, a river. If there's water, there are probably people near it, because water is really important to our life. Number one, what do you think the Plum Bayou people who lived here were drinking? And where do you think that water came from?
Here.
This lake. I would not want to take a big drink out of this lake today. It would probably taste really gross, probably get sick, but 1,000 years ago, this lake was a lot cleaner. They would come down here and they would gather water from this lake to use. They would use it for drinking purposes, they would use it to cook with, use it to clean with, all of the things that we use water for today. Except today, if I need water, I turn on my faucet and through plumbing, water comes out. Plum Bayou people didn't have that, so if they wanted water, they had to go get it and carry it back. And water is really heavy, so if you don't want to have to carry something that's really heavy all the way, it's best to live near the water. Number two, there are fish here today in this lake. People fish here today, and there would have been people fishing here 1,000 years ago. And what were they probably doing with those fish? Probably eating. So the water, this lake is not only a source of water, it's a source of food. The fish here, the birds that gather here, they can get hunting. So it gives me something to drink, it gives me something to eat, and number three, it gives me a way to get somewhere. Today, if we have a really long way to go, we drive. We all today drove here to this park. 1,000 years ago, there were no cars, there were no highways, there were no horses here yet. If I wanted to get somewhere, I could walk, which is fine if it's not very far, or if it's a pretty long way, I might get something like this. I might build a canoe, and then I would go by water. Plum Bayou people were using this lake, bayous near it, rivers near it, as a way of transportation. Like I said, this canoe is not from here, from this site. Someone built it for us, so that we can have one out here for people to look at. Because this is, while it is much newer, basically what the Plum Bayou people would have been using to get around in if they had to go very far. We'll be exiting our boardwalk off in this direction. Normally, if we're going to see any wildlife, this is the side we see it on. I don't see any turtles right now, but the turtles in our lake are old enough to remember when you could feed them. And so sometimes when they hear us coming, they will come to the surface because they still expect people to feed them. Although, about 4 or 5 years ago, they made the law that you cannot feed animals in state parks. So we can't feed them, and we're really disappointed turtles. That's what they're doing.
Did you find a turtle yet?
So,
No turtles yet?
I'll turn this way.
Alright, sit down. You need it. Then what do we call it? Want me to get it? read up with Connor. Hold on.
Sorry.
Okay, let's go. Bye fish, bye turtles. They're all out there swimming, huh?
Bye.
I know.